Well, today I'd like to teach you how to make a strip-pieced quilt square. And you can make a lot of these and make a whole quilt out of it. I'll show you a quilt that I made from all of them. Or for these, I'm only going to make 4 and do a base center thing and then build the quilt around that. But what you need to start with is phone book pages. You know those old phone books that you don't know what to do with? Well, cut some 7.5-inch squares of that and 7.5-inch squares of some base material. Doesn't matter what it is, you're not going to see it. And what you're going to do is you're going to lay the material on top of the newspaper, try to get it squared up, and that's going to give you some foundation, because as you can see, just working with it like this, it's pretty flimsy. So we need to you know, have some stiffness to it. Also, we're going to need a bunch of strips, and I was going to measure these and then I didn't, so let me see if I can find my ruler here. They are about 1 1/4 inches wide, and you'll want to do them longer because, as you know, you want to start with the longer ones, of course, when you're in the middle, and then as you go out they get shorter so you can use your other scraps at that point. But so I'm picking a lot of bright colors. I made my daughter's quilt out of a lot of these bright colors. So first what we're going to do is you need to have lots of, depending on how many you're doing, lots of just white material, because that is what the center always has to be, is white. And then you do one side at a time. So let's see, we're going to center that on there, and then you need to find the right or the wrong side or whatever and try to get this lined up the best you can. Like I said, you're not going to see that material, and then we're going to lay this white piece kitty corner from corner to corner, and now you got to try to keep it there. If you don't think you can, I never pin them, but if you think that you can't do it that way without pinning it, go ahead and do that. Then you want to get another piece, and this white piece has to be right side up. Every other piece from this point on has to be right side down, and that's how you're going to sew those on. With batiks, sometimes you really can't tell, so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to turn this just a little bit so I can show you, or get it to the right angle for myself. I'm going to lay this edge to edge with this white, and now I'm going to use like a 1/4 inch seam, and I'm going to sew right down this edge that I lined up. And it doesn't matter if some of it's off a little bit, just want to make sure that the under fabric, the one that's underneath or on the bottom, doesn't disappear underneath there, because then you're going to have a hole and there's going to be fabric missing. So now we're going to pick this up and take it to the machine. And like I said, you want to start off the square, and we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam. You need to have your iron hot and ready to go. You can kind of line this up as you go. Mine got off a little bit, but it's not going to matter that much. You want to have your iron hot so that you can iron these back, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to press them back towards the other side. We're going to open this up, and that's your next strip there. You want to iron it open, and I think my iron is not hot anymore. I guess it had enough warmth to do it a little bit. Okay, then you pick your next color, whatever you think it's going to be. I guess I'll go with pink. And then we're going to line that up. And you want to be hanging off the edges a little bit. Make sure there's some hanging, because when you fold it over, it might not cover the whole area if you're not careful. So, again, start off the fabric. Go ahead and sew down the whole length. Make sure that you can see a little peek of that material sticking out from under there, so you don't get a gap. Go all the way off the edge. And you want to iron that open. And then pick your next color, and we'll just keep going here. That almost looks like two. I guess it's just really thick. Now at this point, we're going to flip it over and get our scissors, and you just make sure all of those are down, and then we're going to trim that off. And if you want to, you can wait till the end, but it drives me nuts to have them hanging there, so I want them out of there. So just trim that off. And then it's time to do the other side. Precision. And there you go. You have your square. Notice I had to, at the corner here, I didn't have enough. If you want to plan on making it a big piece so that it's a bigger, like, triangle at the tip, that works, because then when they're all together, if they're about the same size, it looks better. But they don't have to be exact either. But see, that one's going to be a little bit small, but that gives it a little unique flavor too. So then after you're done making all of them, then you just peel this off. It's like perforated when you're done. So you just rip off the backing and you have your quilt square. I'd like to show you something quickly. I have this neat little gadget. I think I've told you before, or showed you before with just pictures, but it's called Quilt Block Design Mirrors, and it gives you an idea of what the whole block would look like. So you put this here and put your little piece on top to hold it. And Casey, if you can try to get down at that level maybe somehow. And then you can kind of look into the mirror and see kind of what a whole quilt would look like. And I think it's going to look nice with this as a centerpiece for the next quilt that I make. And then just a bunch of borders around the other side. So that's it. That's how you make a strip piece quilt square. And I hope it was informative and have fun. I don't like cutting, but you might like cutting. Bye-bye.